Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I want to talk to you guys about the Street-Sweeper, which is a 12 gauge drum fed shotgun that the ATF has classified as an NFA item. Okay, so basically they have it in the same class as a machine gun, and the reason why I find it really interesting is because it's so similar to the Sega 12s and to this Lynx 12 over here in terms of they both just shoot 12 gauge shotgun shells, right? The thing is, it's not only is it not fully automatic, right, but the Street-Sweeper is not even semi-automatic. It's a mechanical gun, and we'll talk about the details of that in a minute. But the first time, about 12 years ago, I saw one for the first time. I thought it was awesome, and for me that was the inspiration of buying doing some research and buying the Sega 12s, and those worked out so great for me that eventually I bought the Lynx 12s. So in this video I want to talk about some of the similarities, some of the differences. When you look at it, it kind of looks the same because it's a shotgun, right? 12 gauge shotgun, so it's got the same size pipe up here. It's got a drum, right? The stock is a top folding stock, right? So the stock flips up. It kind of reminds me of my M70, which is an underfolding 8K47. Well, this is a top folding stock. Okay, it doesn't have sights on the gun. Okay, so you shoot it without sights. And actually the stock just you just go like this, and the thing just flops down, so it comes down really easy. No sights on the gun. It's very similar mechanically to this revolver over here, right? So to load it, it's not like this with these guns where you take out the drum and you load it, right? What you do is there's a winding key in the front. Okay, so what you do is you wind the key up, and that turns a spring that creates tension, and then it has a two-stage trigger. So when you pull the trigger halfway, it will rotate the drum to the next chamber, and then when you pull it the rest of the way, it'll release the firing pin to fire the gun. So what you do is you wind the drum up to create that tension. You pull your trigger halfway so that you can rotate your drum one chamber at a time, and then as you do that, right, you press your you press your trigger. That's going to rotate your chamber. There's a loading gate here on the side of the drum. So you open up the loading gate, and then you take your shells, and then you put one shell in, press the trigger halfway to rotate it to the next one, put the next shell in, press it halfway again, it'll go to the next one. So you put in all 12 shells like that. It's a 12-round drum. You fill up your cylinder, right? And then when you want to shoot it, again, every time you press the trigger halfway, it rotates it, pull it the rest of the way, it drops the firing pin, and it fires the gun, and you keep shooting it. So it appears to be semi-automatic, right? In terms that you can keep pulling the trigger and firing the gun. You could be like boof, 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 boof. But what's happening is it's mechanical in the sense that it's not the recoil that's making the gun work. It's the tension that's in the cylinder. So then after you fire your 12 shells, right? What you gotta do is now it doesn't automatically eject the shell cases, so they're all still stuck in the cylinder. So now again, you got to open up your ejection port, and there's an ejection rod on the side similar to this revolver. So again, you have to press the trigger halfway to rotate the cylinder. Then you press your ejection rod here, and then basically that's going to push your shell out. Then you press it again halfway. That'll go to the next one. Press that out. Press it again halfway. That'll rotate to the next one. Press it out. Right. So that's how you empty out the shells. And if you run out of tension, in your cylinder, basically you gotta rotate. You gotta wind it up again, because you gotta maintain tension in that wind-up spring in order to be able to operate the gun. So basically, it's a wind-up gun. Okay. So I thought it was really interesting. in hindsight, because here's the thing: when I saw it, the guy, first of all, the guy didn't even know that it was an NFA item. I was, I was considering buying it from him because he was looking to sell it. I did a little research on it. Okay, I didn't know it was an NFA item, and then when I learned that it was, I said, I really didn't want to get involved with that, with going through all that trouble dealing with the, with the government and all that nonsense. So but what I did is, in the process of researching the street sweeper, I found out that a lot of people were talking about the similarities between the street sweeper and the Sega 12. So that sent me in the direction of the Sega 12. So I started doing some research on the Sega 12, and boom, I ended up buying the Sega 12s. And the Sega 12s, I had 2 of them. They each did about 30,000 rounds on them over some, I don't know, I think some 8 years or something, before the bolt carriers started cracking on both of them. Okay, and then from there, I ended up with the Lynx 12s, which have been running great for me. But I wanted to give a little credit to the street sweeper for bringing me to the point where I'm at now, working with these Lynx 12s, because I might have eventually got a Sega 12, but it would not have been as fast had I not been exposed to the street sweeper. Another interesting feature about the street sweeper is that because it's basically a revolver, it does have a barrel cylinder gap, right? So there's a gap over there. So when you fire the gun, there's gases that come out of the side. Now, I didn't notice it so much at the time, but when I did some more research on it, people were talking about the gas that comes out of the barrel cylinder gap. So that was very interesting. The gun had no sights, so you have to kind of, point it in the direction that you want to shoot at, and shoot it. I mean, I was at a skeet range at the time. And I was able to still hit some clay discs, even without the sights, just from muscle memory of knowing where to point the gun. It was a really interesting gun. And the question becomes, why was the street sweeper classified as an NFA item? For no good reason. From my understanding, the Brady campaign had lobbied to get it banned. And the way the government saw it is, basically the law says that, basically all, anything over that's bigger than the 50 caliber is illegal. And essentially, it seems like they put in an exception for shotguns. Okay, for most shotguns. Okay, so because of the way the law is written, where any guns over 50 caliber are legal with exceptions, right? It was easy for them to say that, hey, this exception does not apply to that one particular gun. Okay, so that's why that's how the street sweeper got itself, on the ban list, basically. Now, for the life of me, I have no idea how these things escaped. The good thing is that there's thousands and thousands of these already in circulation. So at this point, these would be considered common use firearms, so it would be really difficult to get these banned at this point, or get these moved into the NFA list. Not that they can't try, but it would be a little bit more difficult. But yeah, I wanted to give a little credit to the street sweeper, because for me it's kind of like the granddaddy of these the modern day Lynx 12 that I'm using now. Even though this is a semi-automatic, that one is basically a manual gun that's probably has more in common with this revolver than it does with this shotgun. But they do have the similarity that the 12 gauge, they have drums. It actually has the 12-round drum. Like this is a 20-round drum. There's a 12-round drum over here. So it has a drum of this size. The drum is not removable, other than if you're taking the gun apart to clean it. So you can't just swap drums in and out. It's basically a fixed, it's fixed to the gun, except for disassembly. Very interesting gun. I'm glad I had a chance to shoot it. Forget about trying to mount like red dots on it, because like I said, the gun doesn't even have iron sights on it. So interesting feature. So I hope you guys found this video interesting. And like I said, I just wanted to give some credit to the Street-Sweeper for bringing me in the direction of these Lynx 12 shotguns. And in case anybody's wondering, you know, most of the time, you know, I don't use the drums when I shoot, even though they're a cool novelty to have. Practically speaking, the stick mags are better. They're just faster to load, you know, because you can get, you know, this is a 10 round mag, you know, whereas with this you've got a 12 round. So for two extra rounds, this is really difficult to load because this thing kind of rotates, so you have to really push down, and that takes a lot of effort. And if you're using the 20 rounder, although it's a cool novelty, and I think everybody should have this that has a Lynx 12, one of the things that you'll notice, you see how when you hold the gun, how that hits your forearm, so it kind of interferes with the gun, and plus it gets extremely heavy when you load this up with all 20 rounds. So cool novelty, but practically speaking, the stick mags, and these are the AGP stick mags, you know, this is the most practical way to use this gun. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you got any comments, put them in the comment section. If you're not a member, subscribe. I'll talk to you guys soon.